So Coach Matt Eberflus for the Indianapolis Colts defense may be having a different game plan going into next season. Now we know what his usual game plan is with the Colts is definitely attack the quarterback with the pass rush. And it's been working. I won't lie. It's been working. It definitely has some mishaps, but even through all the controversy, it still wound up being 11th and overall in points allowed for the Colts defense and 8th overall in yards allowed. And the Colts went 11-5 while we wound up losing to the Buffalo Bills. Still not a bad defense at all. It actually was top 5 at the beginning of the season going towards the end. But of course we had a few losses, so it kind of went down in ranking. But still overall probably a top 6 defense in the NFL. And this has been the same way for 2 to 3 years straight. Pretty much a top 10 defense. So we have to give Eberflus his props and give him his credit where it's due. Now overall, in general, of what we were lacking as a Colts fan base for what we were looking for in the Colts defense in general was lacking edge rush. That's what we were lacking. So when we go into training camp and these preseason games, we see the edge rush flying from the sidelines. We see them flying and attacking the quarterback, which we pretty much was missing all last year because the edge rush last year was pretty much dismal. Teray was banged up with injuries, and we really didn't see Banigou at all. And we had Justin Houston, who was a run stopper, but it was not the cure for the edge rush. It really wasn't. So this year, we pretty much see Eberflus pretty much switching it up with the scheme. It's the same thing with the zone, Tampa 2, cover 2, whichever you want to call it. It's pretty much cover 2 zone. But the edge rush is pretty much fast-paced. It's faster coming off the edge. You see Banigou, who's shining, who we pretty much missed last year. You see Kwity Paye, the new draft pick. He's looking good coming off the edge. Pretty much anyone next up on the edge rush, anyone lined up is pretty much going to get the quarterback. Now, of course, we had a few plays where we didn't get there, but I feel like the edge rush was way more elusive. I feel like the flashes and the potential, anybody could have looked really good on our edge rush. We seen Andrew Brown. We seen how he looked. We seen flashes of Rochelle in camp. We seen how he looked. But the edge rush in general pretty much looked good. Teray, he was healthy, and he looked very good. And this is one of the guys we were looking forward to seeing having a good year. Last year he was banged up, but this year in training camp and preseason, he's shown his flashes of how good he can be. Now, of course, DeForest Buckner and those guys, we already know how they're going to play. Grover Stewart, we know how good he's going to be going into next season, but adding that edge definitely is going to boost the Colts. And one of those things we were missing last year into next season. And that's just the game plan change. It's going to change the whole defensive perspective. I think we can have a top 10 defense for sure. Now that we got that edge rush, I feel like it. Because that's really what molds the secondary. If the edge rush can diffuse the quarterback into throwing bad plays, the secondary will have themselves a field day. Because one of those things that lacks is one of the things that interferes with the secondary's coverages is if the edge rush is not attacking the QB. If the QB has more than 4 to 5 seconds in the pocket, maybe 3. I would say if he has more than 3 seconds in the pocket, the secondaries is going to be on the field for a very long time. And it's going to open up the coverage and disguise the zone. We've seen it with the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, a very mobile quarterback who's going to move around in the pocket and escape pressure. He had practice squad wide receivers, including Kiki Kuti, who is now on the Colts practice squad. Those guys were out there catching 4 receptions for over 100 yards due to the pressure not really being there to attack the quarterback. Now, I'm not saying they were there to have a chance of getting him, but the fact that they couldn't get the job done. Even the Ravens game, we shown them flashes in the first half, but then after the fumble, it just everything disappeared. The pass rush disappeared, the secondary, and we just weren't the same, which led the offense being back on the field and giving it up, 4th and out, and the defense being gassed, not having any type of energy to go stop Lamar Jackson in a high-powered offense. And of course, we see them again next year, but we'll get more into that later. But in general, the edge rush is definitely existent. The scheme that he's drawing up is pretty much the same as last year, but I feel like it's better and I feel like it's quicker with the younger guys we got coming off the edge. We did get rid of Houston, who was pretty much a very good veteran, but he was of age and he's a little bit slower. So I don't know if he was going to keep up with the pace that we're trying to run on this defense, to be honest. I don't know. But like I said, I know he'll stop the run, but we just need the guys to come off the edge to be quicker. Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner, those guys in the middle, they're going to do what they're going to do. Just as simple as that. But off the edge, the Al-Qadim Muhammads of the world, the Kwity Payes, the Ben Banagoos, the Kamoko Teres, we need that speed off the edge. We really do. And I think we're going to have that next year. And I think the scheme adjustment with Matt Eberflus, I think it's going to work in Indy's favor for the defense. And even in training camp, I would say even in training camp, Bobby Okereke, we know how good he is, but the pressure going to attack those young QBs and Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger got him to go get interceptions. Hey, even Grover Stewart, they were out. He was out there. It's just the pressure just develops turnovers. Just as simple as that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Colts is going to look next year. You guys let me know your thoughts about the defense going into next season. How you think the edge rush is going to look, and how do you think the pass rush is going to look? All these things in the comment section. This is Marcus. Until next time, you've been Culture Shock.